Hey guys, welcome back to another trading practice. Real quick before I get started, I wanted to mention that all questions, comments, concerns, constructive criticism are totally welcome. I mean, flaming me would be a little weird because this isn't financial advice. It's just me practicing. You guys are watching.
Give me your booze. I am nourished by your hatred.
I just wanted to say, like, I think it's really important for this channel specifically to have people really like asking questions and arguing their thoughts and stuff like that. Not fighting, but arguing. You know, hey Jude, at timestamp 3 minutes and like 45 seconds, you said because this indicator was moving in this direction that the price was probably going to move up when I thought it was actually going to move down because X, Y, and Z. I would love that, and I think everybody else would also love and appreciate that comment as well, because the whole point of this channel is to learn, and I think big questions and a lot of things to consider, and things overlooked being brought to light is super important for this channel and everybody that is a part of it. So I'd appreciate that, and thanks for continuing to watch. Another thing I thought of was, am I cheating myself when I start from a 1 month and I go down to 4 months? Because I noticed, like, when I'm like selecting something, I I kind of like, it's hard to tell if it was like selected or not because it just happens so fast. So I'll try to, like, as soon as I click, I'll like look to see the movement. But I might be like subconsciously like logging in, like if, for example, if I landed like right here, there's a good chance that most trends in here on a shorter time frame are gonna be downtrends. And so I thought about that. I was like, I might be cheating myself here. So I thought, and let me know what you guys think. I mean, otherwise I could just avoid these big trends. I could just like zoom into like right here and just like pick something right here, and that'll be pretty random. Or I was thinking, like, should I go to like a 15-minute and really zoom out and then pick something random and then move up from there? And I thought that might be the way to go. So you know what, this time I'm gonna do that. I want to make this as random as possible so I can like really learn. I really want to learn and practice. I could do live trading, but to be honest, I trade on a pretty long term. So like I usually don't trade like during the day, and I also usually have work during the day. So like that's kind of hard for me, and that's why I really like this, like just doing replays. But ultimately, if you're like, no, Jude, you're a dumbass because it's not gonna work. Honestly, I think it will. But if you bring something to light, and I'm like, oh god, that's a good point, then I guess I'm gonna have to make it work, and I'm gonna have to trade during the days. I just like this. I like the convenience of it, and I think it's still good practice. I don't know. We'll see. Let me know what you think. But this time I'm gonna start at a shorter time frame and go to a longer, and I think that might be better. So let's do that. But first, let me pick a stock. United Health. Cool. 15 minutes. Oh, another thing I wanted to bring up was these lines, just in case they were confusing anybody. This is the current price. This green line is the current price. The ask the bid and ask is kind of talking about like what range of difference is going on around like the current price of the stock. Like what are people that have the stock, what prices are they asking for, and people that want the stock, what prices are they bidding for?
Hey guys, Editing Jude here. I just wanted to preface this next part. It's a very long video. I'm sorry, I wish I could have broken it up more, but I don't like to leave anything out. I'm definitely not going to cut out any part of like the parts like where I'm like doing the practice session, because I think it's really important that you get every single choice that I make, and you get to see every movement of my mouse and think about and like really absorb in, like even when I'm quiet and I'm not really saying anything, I'm thinking about something. And so that might help you guys thinking like, oh, he's thinking about something, I should be thinking about something too. Anyways, it's a really long video, but it's one of the most important ones I've done so far because it's about timing. It's about when did I choose to get in, and when, more importantly, when did I choose to get out? So this is a big one. There's a lot packed into it. Buckle up with some thick straps. Let's go.
We'd like you to use extra thick straps, please.
Extra thick.
Extra thick straps?
Anyways, let's just move on to the good stuff. So 15 minutes. Let me zoom way out. And replay. Okay. Wait. I guess this is long enough, right? This, it's like, am I a Papega, or isn't this like, is this more random or less random than doing it the other way? You know what? We're just gonna do it this way, and we'll freaking see. I don't know. Okay. And then let me move up. And all right. We are going to trade this. Sorry for the long intro, and sorry for the just general Papaganess of my mind, but here we go. This is kind of interesting. This is pretty fun, actually. So, first thing you gotta do, relax. I really need to relax. I'm good. Now, resistance lines. These two are pretty similar. I'm gonna clock that. But these two are, oh. I'm just gonna generally put them there because this is all about approximations. And then we actually have like 3 right here pretty much. And then, you know, if I'm being completely honest, I'm actually gonna separate these two. And I'll tell you why in a second. And I'm actually gonna like lengthen that one. Okay. So I wanted to lengthen these two to really like show the difference between like this peak and that peak. But I originally put them together because it's like they're obviously like related. Like this one went this high and hit this resistance because this one hit this resistance. Like it's probably pretty likely that a lot of traders considered this resistance line when it was trading around here. I mean, I had to consider that. Same thing with these support lines, minimums. They're related, so I just wanted to cover all of them and with that one line to kind of show that like relationship. But the whole point of doing these lines, right, is to show the general trend of what's been going on recently. So it's kind of interesting because the lows have been getting higher. This one's actually a little higher than these, and this one's definitely higher than this one, but the highs have stayed the same. So there's a thing in technical analysis where oh my god, I do not know the names of anything, but basically if you keep following the trend of like do this one instead. Actually, I'm gonna do like just this, like this, and I'm gonna color this like pink, and these stay the same. Cone or rising lows, or I don't know what the hell it's called, but this is the shape. And you know, I like to mention that I don't really like to feed too much into technical analysis, but this is something that you might want to consider. And I don't like to go too deep and heavy in technical analysis, and I don't like to really go any more than resistance lines, but resistance lines they're effective to look at. Like you can see like over time and time again, like they should be considered at least a little bit. And this is kind of showing, I mean, this doesn't line up obviously, but the point is that the lows are getting higher while the highs are staying the same. And so that kind of makes you think maybe the price is going to be somewhere in here as opposed to, it's going to be somewhere in here as opposed to somewhere in here. See what I mean? So I'm going to keep it like that for my lines, because that's the whole point, is I'm trying to predict on a broad way with the resistance and support lines. Where do I think generally can the price go? And so right off the bat, I'm going to think, okay, it's either going to be somewhere in here, or is third time the charm? Is it going to surpass this resistance up here that it's failed twice before? So those are the questions in my mind. Now let's go to the indicators. Let's look at Bollinger Band. What a mess. So, you know, I like to check to see, is United Healthcare a hugger? And I do see quite a lot of hugging. And, you know, take that with a grain of salt. I've talked about hugging with people, and they're just like, "You're dumb." Just raise your standard deviation so that there isn't any hugging, and it's just like touching and going. I don't know. I've tried both, and I honestly feel like, I don't know, it helps. It helps for me, and that's a really important thing when you're trading, is to really stick to what helps you and what you understand the most. And I like analyzing that. I feel like it helps. I'm gonna keep doing it until, I don't know, I get through my thick skull like, no, Jude, it isn't helpful. But for right now, I think it is. So anyways, I do see some hugging here. And there's not so much right here or right here. So there is a difference. It is a thing. However, it is very far. Like there's been a pretty aggressive trend right here. And it's pretty far from the average. So remember the rubber band. It's pretty stretched right now. It's pretty stretched. That being said, people could be rallying. People could really be rallying. So I got to be thinking about that. I got to be thinking about the pressure returning to the average. A lot of questions right here. A lot of questions. So, however, I do kind of see, like, after all that, after like such an aggressive positive trend, these two candles kind of look like this makes me wonder, like, what does the volume look like and what does the MACD look like? Because these two look like it's kind of lost momentum. Like if this candle was significantly higher than this candle, I would think like, oh, they might really be rallying. It might just go straight for it might try to bust through the resistance line. So part of me does think like, okay, I think the momentum has been lost. So I think the MACD is going to show an increase in selling pressure. So I think it's going to look like the blue line is about to, or is approaching the orange line. Like it's about to go lower than the orange line. Let's see. That was wrong. Okay, wait, yeah, of course. It hasn't happened yet. It'll only happen if there was like a red candle. But okay, so let's see here. So the only thing the MACD is telling me is that there's still more buying pressure than selling pressure at this time. And I mean, that's, yeah, all we see is buying. And the momentum is still like accelerating, it's still increasing. It's not like it's slowed down at all. So that's a sign of it might keep trending Might keep trending. Okay, now volume. If I see, honestly, I don't know. If I see low volume, then I think that might be maybe an indication of a reversal happening soon. If I see high volume, like high volume here, and then it's turned into lower volume, like it's going down, that's another sign of like a reversal. But if I see like constant high volume or something, or no sign of it going down, then I think that means it's probably going to keep trending. Okay, this is increasing volume, which makes sense, but like I just expected it to be high because this is so much activity. But I mean, I guess this is more activity, relatively speaking. All right, so gosh, throw me a bone here. This is a hard one, guys. Okay, so I mean, okay, I see a trend. Trends like to keep going. I see that the buying pressure is still higher than the selling pressure. I see that there's not very much volume for a change. But it just, my intuition is telling me like, it just seems overdue. It just seems too far away. Like when something, like look at the Bollinger Band. It rarely ever goes outside of the Bollinger Band. There's a lot of hugging, but it rarely like, what the hell did I just do? Oh, I guess it is. I guess it does kind of. I was gonna say like it rarely goes outside of the Bollinger Band, but no, that's a lie. It happens all the time. It happens often, actually. And here, it's actually like in the upper band. So, if I'm being completely honest, and I saw this and I was trading, I wouldn't trade it. I just don't know what to do. I mean, I have a lot of signals that says it's gonna keep going, but just my intuition and just something doesn't sit right with me. I don't like that I'm not confident in any direction. I don't feel right. I don't feel good. I don't feel confident. So honestly, I just don't think I would trade here. But if I was being a little risky, and if you've learned anything about options, the one thing that I might do is I might look into doing a credit, a call credit spread up here at this resistance line. And real quick, if you don't know what that is, that's me buying two options, assuming that the price will not go not go higher than this point right here. I would set it to be at this point, and then I would buy one option, hoping that the price does not go above it, and then I would buy another option just above that option, like price wise, to cover me, so that if the price does go above it, if it actually does shoot up, then it's automatically bought, that those shares are bought by someone else, so that I don't just like lose money. I hope that's like a quick, good explanation of a call credit spread, but if not, look into options a little bit. I think explaining options might just be a little too out of the scope of like these videos, but for those of you that do know options, I think that's maybe what I would do here. I would look into it and see if it'd be worth it, if there's a good like return at this time. There might be a decent one, but I might do that here. But to be totally honest, just like picking a long or short position, I don't feel good. I probably just want to trade this. or at least I'd wait, or I'd want to know more. So maybe we can do that. Maybe I want to see. I want to see more, and so I would every day I would just kind of check in, and or throughout the day I would kind of check in and just like look, because that's generally what I do. I have this app on my phone. I'm usually at my computer though, and so I'll just be like scrolling, and I'll be like looking for opportunities, and because I'd be familiar with this, and I'd be looking at it, and I'd be like, oh yeah, that's right, I remember, I don't like how like far away this is from the average. I kind of want to see what it does next before I move. So to be honest, I think I'd really be looking for the buyers to slow down, so this blue line to be looking like it's about to be overcome by the sellers, this orange line, and then I'd like to see the price kind of be like staggering off, and it might happen here, it might happen right where it's at, it might happen up here closer to the band, or if I get to the point where it crosses the support, the resistance line, at that point I think I'd really consider just thinking more about, I'd have to like reanalyze it. So I think I'd wait is my honest option. Except for that one option of call credit spread, maybe. If it's a good deal, then I probably maybe would buy it. But my answer for right now is I'll wait on it. So let's see what the waiting would yield. Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there. Okay, so it did start staggering, and it did start staggering. I don't know if this is the new high though. I'm gonna be honest, this could just be like a small correction. I still wouldn't trade it right now. I still wouldn't trade it. I'd wait a little bit longer. Okay, at this point, seeing that, what would I do? I mean, there's likely to be a correction here, and it could just as easily, I mean, God, I don't know. It's change in direction just so much right here. It makes me uncomfortable. It's not predictable. Yeah, changing, there's a correction, yeah. Okay, but now there's been like a pretty significant correction. So, and then like the buyers, it seems like the buyers have been tapped out now that I see a pretty decent loss of momentum in the buyers, and it seems like the sellers are still going pretty strong in a linear way. So I mean, you can see it here too with the two red candles. I'd be pretty happy if I did make that call credit spread earlier. I'd be pretty happy right now. I'd be pretty comfortable, and I'd probably be watching that and maybe close it out early or something, or maybe hold on to it. But right now, I'd be pretty happy if I made that purchase. But as far as like going long or going short, right now, do I think this is peaked? That's the biggest question. Do I think this is the new resistance? Do I think this is the new resistance? I can consider it. There's been just the momentum in buying and selling pressure just has a lot of evidence that it might be the case, but I want more. I want more evidence, really. It's just a little too soon, but to be honest, this is like a critical moment, because anything else, and it's not too late to get into the trend, but like, I don't know, I just feel like I should be able to. I just want to double check, make sure, am I missing anything? It's always Okay, when you're stuck and you don't know what to do, like I did back there, I was just like, I'm not gonna trade. I need to wait. I think it's always good practice. If you don't know what to do, if you're not clear, if it's not predictable, either wait or just don't trade. So I'm gonna follow my own advice. I'm not gonna trade right now. It seems obvious. It seems like this is a peak, but I've been around the block. Like I've seen some stuff. So I'm gonna wait. Oh God. Jesus. I think I'd be done. At this point, I think I'd just be, after this candle, I would sell off my options contract and I'd be done with United Health. I'd be like, no, this was too much of a roller coaster. I'm done with this. It's just the stress that it would have caused me at this point in time, like after like waiting and watching it and like doing all these like reanalyzing, and then this like small adjustment, and then the small correction, or the small correction, and then the small correction after correction after correction. It's just it's just made things too complicated short term, because like I mean, you could take a step back and you could look and be like, well, this is obviously just the continuation of a positive trend, and there's just a small correction right there. Like, what's the big deal? It's probably heading for this this resistance line up here, and it's probably gonna break it. Maybe not. It's like right there. That's the thing. This is actually the most conflicting point right here. Like right now, because this resistance line exists, because it's already like reached this point. Sheesh, I'm gonna say 50-50. Like, it can either break it or it cannot. Like, and I don't like those odds. I really don't like those odds. And so, and it's already just caused me so much stress. And so, like, thinking about, like, dang, if I get this wrong, I'ma just, I mean, I know I really shouldn't, but I'm gonna beat myself up over it after all this. If I get it wrong now, there's too much baggage. To be totally honest, now it's not even about the money. Now it's about my personal like well-being. So, no, I'd still wait. I'd still be waiting. If I was still gonna mess with United Healthcare, I'd be waiting right now. I would not be trading. It's gonna keep going. Okay, so it broke the resistance line. Now we have another thing to consider, because now this cone is invalid. This cone is invalid. It's breached the resistance line of a previous resistance line. You could say that the new low is here. Like, you could make an argument for that. I don't know. I think that's kind of a weak argument. I don't think that's just a little correction. I wouldn't even call it. No, I take it back. But now the rules have changed. It's breached. It's breached our fundamental like technical analysis parameters. So now things are just like off the rails, and a lot of people see that as, oh, it's broken the resistance. It's time to buy. The buying and pressure seems to be slowing down. It seems overdue for a reversal. The pressures, the momentum of the pressures are like stagnating, and the volume is a little too low for my taste. It's hugged for pretty long. For me, I'm just so conflicted right now. Like, I think it's overdue for a reversal. I think a reversal. The reason why I think it's overdue for a reversal is because looking at a previous trend, it's about that long. Like, they're about that size, and that's kind of the only thing you can go off of. Like, this is about that size, but it wasn't considering this resistance line, and that's kind of getting into the out of bounds for the technical analysis. But I mean, you could make an argument. Look at this one. Look at this. Look at this trend. This is way bigger than what's happened so far here. It's true. But what if it was just there was just a little bit too much rallying, and it's really staying true to this cone right here, this big cone. Yeah, I don't know how people are gonna react. People might see this and get super excited. So again, I'm just like, no, it's just not predictable enough for me. I think it's overdue in one respect, but people get excited when big, well-known barriers are broken. I'm gonna keep waiting. Bada bing, bada boom. What did I say? People. Okay. So at this point though, okay. So after that red, I've honestly, I need to learn how to go back. Is that jump to? Okay, how do I use this? Uh-oh. What do I? Oh, okay. I'm gonna go back to here. What the? Wait, I'm gonna go forward again. Okay, so after I saw this candle, I think it's pretty clear that this was the new resistance up here, and it just rallied a little bit too much. But I think it's pretty clear. Okay, the sellers have made it very clear. We're not really gonna bust. They just kind of teased it, but they're not really gonna bust. So I'm gonna put that here, and that's technically the new resistance, but like now it's kind of like reaffirmed this like cone, and it's kind of shown like, yep, this trend is over. That's I'm thinking like red. Those are the major things that are going on in my head right now. I'm like, okay, now I see a lot of clear signs for a direction, whereas before it was just too uncomfortable for me. Now I'm excited. Now I'm like, okay, I think a reversal's happened. I think that was the fractal right here, that this green candle, and that's the new resistance. It's pretty much the same as this, like this around this area. I think it's returning to the average. I like that the selling pressure is getting lower than the buying pressure, and the momentum is slowing down and even accelerating downward, so pushing the price down. There was a lot of volume right here, obviously. This big candle right here is that, and so that shows like, okay, there's been a change. A lot of things are telling me that there has been a change and people are going in the opposite direction. So I'd probably go short here, to be honest. Well, right now, I think I'd go short. So let's go short. Wrong one. Short. So boom. And I saw the next few candles, but to be totally honest, I think it was pretty much stagnating. I'm not cheating, right? Am I cheating? From what I remember, it was kind of stagnating. It wasn't really going anywhere. So I don't think I don't know. You can call me a cheater. Or should I just go ahead? I don't want to deal with that. Let me just go ahead a few. I think I saw like 3 more, right? Something like that. And pretty much stagnating. Okay, so let's say that I don't know. I fell asleep for 3 days, and at this point I would have made the trade, but to be honest, but I guess nothing really happened, so meh. But okay, but at this point, let's say I'm making the trade, and okay, so how much do I think it's going to rebound up after going down? The only thing I'm going off right now is I don't think it's going to go higher than this last candle. And I'm trying to look for other reasonings because that's kind of weak. I mean, I just don't really think it's going to go up very much more because there's so much evidence that it's going to like kind of really snap back, push the price down. I mean, there's negative momentum. There's more sellers than buyers now. And the volume is still kind of going back up. So the only thing I can really go off of is I'm gonna stick it to that candle. I don't think it's going to have a reversal. If there is like a green, if it does go back up, if there is a green candle, I don't think it's going to I don't think it's gonna beat this portion of this candle, this last candle, the red candle. So I don't know, that's just kind of what I'm going off of, and I don't think it's too crazy because I just don't think it's really gonna go up much. How much do I think it's going to go down? Because there was a new high, I think the low will be lower, and that's also kind of supported by this like cone shape technical analysis. It's a very weak point of evidence, but it's there and it goes along with it, so I had to consider it. And then these two indicators don't really help with that too much. So this was the most recent low. I want to be extremely conservative and kind of think about, I'm looking at this average like right here, and I'm just gonna use this average as potentially the next low, because it did stagnate here for quite a while. And I don't know, the midpoint's like kind of like right here-ish, right? I don't know, it feels right. So I'm gonna take profit. I'm gonna take profit just a tiny bit above that to be even more conservative. So like right here. You know, if you pay attention to risk reward ratios, I think that this is pretty good if you're considering that. You know, my lines, my shapes really like show that like, oh, but dude, like there's all this you could be grabbing. Like everything points to this being closer to this line. Yes, but I mean, this was also raised, so I have to assume that the resistance is also going to be raised, and I also just like being safe. I like taking profits where I can, and of course I'll be watching it, and I can have a rolling, I can sell it in a rolling fashion. So, but for now we're just going to see what happens. Okay, so this is what I've set. I finally have made a trade, and let's see what happens. Okay, now I had to think about this for a second. To be honest, after seeing this candle, when I made that like Shaquille O'Neal face, I made that face because I was not expecting that, and that would scare me. Because I've mentioned in the past, like when there's like a really big move, there's likely to be equal or really big correction. So after that move, let me see. I mean, after this candle, there's nothing else to support it really. There's no like change in momentum of the buyers and sellers, or really anything exciting happening with the volume. So it's not totally clear. The only thing I'm going off of is like just the sheer size and the amount of volume in that one candle just kind of susses me out, because as you can see here, it looks like that can create a new resistance. Now my short little take profit isn't so crazy now, is it, guys? And this is why. But if I'm being honest, after this big candle, I probably would at least heavily consider selling or partially selling, because just in my experience, I know that big reversals or corrections happen after such a big candle. And then definitely after, can I like get these little things like out of here? Can I mute it? Is that like a thing? Is that something I can do? Hide? No, I don't want to hide the whole thing. Whatever. Anyways, after this candle, the second candle right here, oh my god, this green one, or right after the big red one, if I for some reason was being greedy and I wanted to like stick it out and see like, it's probably just gonna be a little correction, whatever, definitely after this candle closed, I'd be out, because that's just way too high. That's like half of the pretty much all the gains that I just got gone. But to be honest, this one climbing, and then as soon as this one started and it went down a little bit and then it corrected, probably when it reached the closing price of the last candle, I'd be very inclined to sell. I might wait, to be honest. I might just watch it until maybe like halfway up to as far as it went up, if that makes sense. And then I would have definitely sold like halfway up. But if I'm being honest, I might have like sold like right around here. I probably would have closed right around here. Just because that's such a big profit, and I just have seen it time and time over again that like such a big move in one direction can likely cause cascading reversal. So that's what I would do. And it's really important to show that like I'm not waiting until my trade runs out of time. I'm not waiting till it reaches my take profit. I'm not waiting till it reaches my stop loss. I'm not just sitting there like hoping that it's gonna move. I am thinking about things as it's moving. And like I said, like I would very realistically, after this big candle, I'd be watching it like a hawk, and it went down, and I'd be a little excited, but I'd still be watching it. And then once it went up, I'd be pretty nervous. And then after it's gone up, like after it's like doubled in size, I'd be like, okay, that's it. I'm taking my profit. So let's see. If I got in somewhere around there, it's so hard to see. And something like this. So I'd have probably like a 2% profit, give or take. Probably is what I'd end up with. And you know, things are very different when you're actually trading. And it's easy for me to say like, oh, but I've been trading so long, and I used to day trade for like a long time and years, and I can say, and I'm here saying like, oh, I would do this, I would do that. And you're like, but Jude, no, things would be different when you're actually trading. Yes, you're right. I don't know. I feel like I'm being fair to myself, but should I be doing things differently? Should I be setting this up in a different way? Should I be truly trading? I just feel like that's so less practice, you know? It's just the amount of time in between my real trades is like a month and a half. I'm not gonna make one video every month and a half. I mean, I don't just make one trade. I make, I don't know, anywhere between like 6 and 8, sometimes 10. And I guess that is a lot, but I just want more. I'm a grinder. I like to grind. I like to really get more practice. So I guess what I'm trying to say is just gonna have to trust me. I mean, I don't know. Do I show like, will showing my previous wins and losses convince you guys? I don't think so. There's so many. Well, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of you Papegas would be like, yeah, if you have more money, I'll totally trust you. Do you have any idea how many YouTubers are out there with money they didn't get from trading, but they dumped it into their Robinhood account, and they're like, hey guys, look at all this money, I can trade, now listen to me, this is what you want to do. And they tell you to download a few indicators, and they're like, I can trade it like this, now watch the back testing. And then they pick perfect examples of where it would work when the win rate's actually like 40%. That can still be profitable, but it's total BS. So no, that's not what I can do. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. To be honest, I think this is great practice. I feel like I'm learning a lot. I feel like I'm getting better. I hope it's helping you. But if that is like really outweighing, if you're just like, dude, I just can't give you any credibility because you're not actually doing this for real, how would you really know what you would actually do? If I'm just not explaining it enough, or being like not convincing you for some reason that I wouldn't actually do what I'm saying I would do, let me know. Let me know what you think, because because that's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big problem. Like, I mean, I'm gonna continue to do this, but I want this to be a community. So let me know. Let me know if it really bothers you. I think this is good. And it's not like you're trading. So this is showing like scenarios. And I think, and I've scoured YouTube, I've seen all of the BS that people post that obviously and blatantly do not actually trade. And they don't think like in terms of what are my options and how should I evaluate them and what should I do and what would I do. I have yet to find, I found one. There's one YouTuber, I don't remember their name, that I've seen do that on like a live trading session. But even then, it was very limited because they were like actually like live trading and they weren't paper trading. So they were like quiet and they were thinking about their stuff and they kind of talked about it afterwards. And it's kind of like, I don't know. It was, I didn't like watching that. I didn't feel like I was getting much out of it. I was watching them trade live, yeah, sure, but I didn't know what they were thinking. And so I feel like this is a good compromise of like, no, I'm not actually trading, but I am telling you everything that I am thinking. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And when I'm right, I'm right. And when I'm, sometimes you can be wrong and right. When you think like, oh, I think it's one of these two things. Let me go with one of them. You still learn from that. So sorry for the long rant. This is a super long video, but I think, you know, these earlier videos, there's a lot to consider. And moving forward, I want to make sure that these really are like helpful for you and me. So let me know. I really cherish your feedback. I'm probably going to keep doing these. But let me know how I can make them better. I guess that's really what I want to know. How can I make them better? And good utility to both of us. Anyways, if you watched this whole thing, thank you so much. I really enjoy your contributions. I hope you learned a lot. I hope we continue to learn a lot. Have a great day. Bye. If you think you got the keys to the market, let me tell you, the locks change. Find out what I mean on the next episode.